Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. And today we have with us Ethan Beute, who is the VP of Marketing for BombBomb. Ethan, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate it.
Hey, so a lot of times when I interview guests and you can see the company name or their focus, you can go, hey, let's just jump right on in. But what the heck is a BombBomb?
Yeah, that's really it's really cool because we won't get into the origin story of the name. It's just popular slang at the time. You're the bomb, he's the bomb, she's the bomb, it's the bomb. But when customers start using our brand name in terms of how they're engaging with the product or the service, they say, oh, yeah, I sent a BombBomb. I sent a BombBomb. And what a BombBomb is in that context is a simple personal video recorded most often with a webcam or a smartphone, sent with and in place of even more plain typed out text. And so we'll get into why that matters here in the conversation, but what we help people do is quickly and easily get face-to-face with more people more often by recording a simple video in place of some of the typed out text they would send instead.
You know, I love the concept, and I'm a user as well, so that's why I wanted to bring you on, because I wanted to talk through why and you know, the how. That's simple. You know, here's your tool, use it. The why is where the strategy comes in. So, you know, creating those relationships. And when you were describing that, it made me think of a question. How do you ever get this from people? If sometimes an email just would be necessary to ask a quick question, and let's say that you have consistent communications with a core group of people, strategic alliances, referral sources, clients, whatever you might think of there. At some point, should you do, like, for every 5 communications, we should do 3 video emails and 2 regular? Do people get bored of that?
Yes, absolutely. Just like anything. So a lot of people, when they look at the style of video, if you're familiar with it, they think, it's kind of gimmicky. And it can be if you rely on it exclusively. Just like if you're trying to, let's say, prospect into an account, you don't just phone call. Well, I guess I just can't reach these people. You mix it up. You use maybe some direct mail. You use some email. You use some phone calling if you have the opportunity, maybe texting. You maybe connect on LinkedIn or whatever the case may be. It's about mixing it up. And it's the same way with video. There are some very specific moments when a video is going to serve you much more effectively than plain typed out text will. But you've already identified a common question or objection, which is, so I do this every time? And as you've already observed, the answer is no, of course not. It has its place. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point. Just like should you, any marketing medium, even if it's email or video email, you should stagger it. So it might need to be a phone call one day. It might need to be a video. It might need to be a video email one day. You might want to grab your pen and write a handwritten note to someone at some point in time. So all of those are super important. But I know that you talk about marketing through video, which is huge because it develops relationships by humanizing the communication. Talk a little bit about that, because that is so key today in this hide behind the screen digital type of environment that we live in and work in.
Right. So, a lot of people, so we've been doing this for a decade. We're based in Colorado Springs, right down the road from where you're operating. And we've been doing this for a decade. And earlier on, there was a lot of confusion about this. Fortunately, now we have a lot more competition than we did a decade ago. And so understanding of what this practice is a little bit higher. So some of the language we used earlier on was we set marketing through video on one side. And that's the side where most people start. If you're thinking video in a business context, you're typically thinking lights, scripts, editing, marketing department, or creative agency, or this is someone else's job besides mine. And so to illustrate what's so important and unique about the opportunity we're creating with and through our customers is what we call relationships through video. So if you and your team and your company are doing marketing through video and really nice videos for YouTube or even for television or cable placement or for a really nice homepage video or whatever, that's what we call marketing through video, and you should continue to do that. And if you're not doing it, you should take a look at that opportunity. But everybody, whether or not you're doing marketing through video, everyone has the opportunity to participate in what we call relationships through video. And this is the opportunity to stop relying so much on plain, faceless, typed out text that doesn't differentiate you, it doesn't build rapport, it doesn't communicate as clearly as if you just look someone in the eye and explain the exact same thing. This is the opportunity that we're raising up, and that's kind of the community that we've built, is a set of practitioners who believe that relationships precede transactions and that relationships beget more transactions, and that operating in a personal way and building real relationship with your recruits and your employees, with your prospects and customers, with your partners and your supplier network is better done eye-to-eye, face-to-face. Simple personal videos help you overcome the time and distance that keep us apart and allow you to be face-to-face more often at scale. So we see relationships through video in contrast to marketing through video. And we see video as better in many cases than plain typed out text is. And we also acknowledge that being there in person is the very best situation when you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really big point. In fact, you made something alluded to something I want to go deeper on. I think that it is important to realize it doesn't have to be perfect, because getting done and being completed is better than perfect. So, the lighting's not right. Oh, I cleared my throat. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that's a barrier to some people.
It is. It's because of the way we've been culturally trained. We're trained to think that if I'm doing video, it needs to be as good as my homepage video, or it needs to be as good as that film trailer or television commercial. We're culturally attuned to this level of perfection. In addition, by being able to control our image and our words in emails, right? Like we can backspace and say it again and double think it. And we have some research in the book that is about to be released called Rehumanize Your Business, and it's all about this practice. It causes us a great deal of tension, and we overestimate our ability to communicate clearly in plain typed out text. And so by controlling our social profiles and what photos we share and what photos we don't, and what words we type and which words we don't, we're used to this level of control around so much of our digital communication. And so a couple interesting things here. It's a little bit of a paradox. What makes simple videos so challenging for some people is this level of authenticity, this level of imperfection, the ums, the ahs, the bad lighting, the stopping to gather your word, all of these things that when we play ourselves back on video, we say, that's not good enough. I can't send that. The irony of that is all of the things that hold you up from recording and sending that video because it's imperfect is exactly why it's so effective. We're all trained. It's the same thing. Like, for those of you who are listening who are in a sales capacity, you know that at some point you're working against the stereotype of what a salesperson is. A little bit slick, a little bit self-interested, a bit self-motivated, have your own best interest in mind, just looking to get the close, really focused on the commission, not necessarily like all these things that aren't true of most salespeople, but that's still the perception. And so it's the same thing with our videos. When you're presented with a video, no matter what network it's in, or whether it's in an email or in a text message or in a LinkedIn message and all these other places that our customers are placing their videos, when you click play and there's the big whooshing graphic and animation and it feels all polished and produced, it sends a different message out of the gate than just you sitting at your desk under fluorescent lights, looking someone in the eye with very specific promises of information and value and opportunity. And so we hear this all the time from some of our most prolific customers. The camera they are most willing to give up, even though they have thousands of dollars in video equipment, is their iPhone, for example. And that the videos that get the most reaction, even when they send them to their entire database of 500, 5,000, or even 50,000 people, they often get the best response from the simplest videos. And because it peels back all this stuff that shows a high level of control and all these things that we think of as quote unquote professional, when you strip all that away, it's so much more fundamentally human and so much more fundamentally attractive. And the trick for you as someone thinking about getting involved as a listener here is that you're going to have to overcome these imperfections on your side, but know that when you do, that's actually one of the most attractive qualities of this style of video.
Yeah, you said a mouthful, and I think we can talk about 4.5 more hours on just that one statement, and that's big. I think that there's a time and place for, let's have some graphics and fly in and some text and some fun. There's a place for that. But we're talking about humanizing communication. And I know that's one of the main points of your new book release coming out. And I want to learn more about that as well. But before we get to that, let's talk just a touch on the strategy. Because you're talking about the strategy of why using video email. But now let's take it one level deeper, which is, let's think about someone in sales. What would that look like? You say, send a video email to humanize your communication. What occasion would that be? How would that be used on a couple of examples?
Sure, I'll give you a handful, and this is going to apply. Some of these will apply to each person listening, and some of them won't. But across the board, some of these will resonate. Prospecting or first touch, right? That first introduction to somebody. It's great to introduce yourself and put a face with the name to separate yourself from all the other people that might be cold calling, cold emailing. I will also say, relative to cold calling, when you pair video emails with your cold calls, it's super effective. So in the call or voicemail, because no one answers their phone anymore, in the voicemail you say, hey, I'm going to be in your inbox, and so be on the lookout for that. Or if you lead with the video email, you say, hey, I just wanted to put a face with a name. I'll be reaching out to you by phone. In fact, keep an eye out for the number that's down below my video and my signature. That's the number I'll be calling you from. And so when you have that give and take, we've seen a much higher incidence of either a returned phone call or a replied email by pairing those things together. So in an initial introduction to say, I'm a real person, I'm excited to work with you, and I'm not just a plain signature in a plain email, or I'm not a faceless voicemail that I'm leaving you. Another one would be nurturing those responsive or unresponsive leads. So as you have these opportunities that are in front of you, you maybe make initial contact and someone goes cold, they stop replying because they went on vacation and never picked the communication back up again. Or there's a case where you have a really good opportunity, but they have not yet directly engaged with you. So we'll call that unresponsive. A video, just as a timely follow-up, as part of the cadence to our start of our conversation, as part of the mixing in a video we've seen be very effective in creating another level of engagement. And of course, if it's a responsive lead, you know what you can pick up on. Hey, it's been a couple weeks since we connected. Just wanted to remind you, we talked about this, that, and the other thing. Here are the next steps. Wondering if this is, if you're prepared to move forward or whatever. Holidays and special occasions. You mentioned a handwritten note, and that's an excellent use. But instead of maybe blanketing your database with a bunch of somewhat generic holiday cards, let's say, or, mass signing a stack of birthday cards so they get kind of a plainish card and with just your handwriting on it because you just wrote 500 of them in the morning, or signed a bunch of them. Videos, and you can record it once and use it over and over again, but I would encourage you to think about the most valued relationships and the most valued clients and maybe do truly personal messages on those. But we see people who will send a holiday video. Sometimes they'll include family or team members or something else, just to kind of warm it up. It's this eye-to-eye, face-to-face. I can feel your energy. I can feel your enthusiasm. I can feel your sincerity. I can feel your gratitude. And so you can imagine then, if you do that on a one-to-one basis, how much more powerful that would be. But even doing it on a mass basis, how much better it is than some of the traditional formats that we've relied on. Internal communication. I mean, it's easy to talk about the ROI on getting going with a service that helps make this quick and easy. And we provide tracking, so when people open emails and play videos and click links and those kinds of things. But it's easy to talk about sales and even customer support and customer success. We've seen great efficacy in terms of mixing some video into that process. Because typically if you're in a service capacity, you're often dealing with people when they're confused or frustrated at best and frankly angry at worst. And so being able to control that tone and look someone in the eye and let them know that you hear them, you see them, you feel them, and you've got some resolve for them is really effective. But don't miss the opportunity to improve internal communication as well. I think anyone who's running a business successfully probably looks at their team members and their potential team members, or their employees and their recruits, similar to the way that they look at prospects and customers, because customer experience is a product of internal service quality. And so when we recruit and hire and onboard and engage and build into and train up and pat on the back great human beings inside our organization, we're equipping our organization to do the same thing for our customers. And so, if you're running a medium to large size organization, especially in a leadership seat, you don't have the time to get in front of all these people as often as you need or want to. But when a mid-level manager tells a nice story about an employee, wouldn't it be nice if before you left the office that day, you took 45 seconds to say, "Hey, Tina, it's Bob here. I just wanted to let you know you are doing an awesome job. In fact, I heard a great story from Tim today. I'm just so proud of the way you're, taking control of the situation, and what a great outcome for you. I'm just really proud of you, and I'm so glad you're part of the team. I hope you have a great weekend." Right? Think about how meaningful that moment is for that frontline or even mid-level employee to get that type of communication. This is what turns people into super employees from just being employees. It creates massive engagement, and in these kinds of things that just compel us to be better people every day. It's satisfying for both the recipient and the sender, frankly.
Yeah, I love it. It's just amazing what you just unleashed there. That's just awesome content. So thank you. Let's transition into your book. Give us a quick overview on the book you guys have coming out and how we can pick up a copy.
Sure. It's called Rehumanize Your Business: How Personal Videos Accelerate Sales and Improve Customer Experience. It's available everywhere. I'm not sure when this is going to air, so I'm sure it will be released by then. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, everywhere they sell books. And our whole goal here was to capture a decade of learning by being practitioners of this. We all do it. I've sent 8,000 videos myself. By teaching it, we sell by teaching, and a lot of that teaching is done by learning from our own customers. So we've really created in our community of, just shy of 50,000 customers. We've learned so much over the years about when this works, why this works, who's doing it. So the book is packed with some of our best tips, including advanced strategies like, what do you do when you send an email, it gets opened, but they don't play the video? What do you do if they open the email and play the video, but they don't reply or respond? So we have from the kind of the guts of the what is this and who's doing it and why does this matter, to the actual how do we do it. We have several chapters on some of the how questions around all of this. And then we have some advanced strategies as well. And so we just wanted to put it all together in one convenient place for people. I mean, you could probably get 60% of the book or 70% of the book if you went and watched every webinar we delivered and read, half of our 500 blog posts and listened to a bunch of podcast interviews like these. But we wanted it all in one convenient package, and it's been pretty well received so far. We're really excited about it, and we welcome any questions about it anytime.
Awesome. Well, Ethan, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I know I'm going to pick up a copy of the book and read that because I just love everything that you guys are putting out. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, Mike. Thanks for being a customer. Thanks for the opportunity here, and I hope you have a really great rest of your day.
Thanks so much.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.